Hello. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody who comes up in my chat and also those who watch on the replay. Happy spring equinox. It is today, except on the other side of the world, it would be the fall equinox. So happy fall equinox for those in New Zealand and Australia and that relative area on the other side of the planet. And happy spring equinox to us in the Western Hemisphere. Hey, Daniel, yay! Hi, Seascape. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Sonia. Hello, Deborah. Hi. You guys, so glad you could be here. Um, hey, Marjorie. Woohoo! Happy spring. Finally, though ironically, in everything that is symbolic of Michigan, where I live, the weather is always topsy-turvy. So it was really warm yesterday. It was like 70. And today it snowed. It's in the 40, low 40s. It's windy and very kind of like still winterish. So yeah. Haha. Hi, Carolyn. Hello. Hey, Kathy. I think I already said hi to you. Is it escape? Did I say hi to you too? Artistic world. I have so many thoughts going through my mind today. Before, like a few days before lives, I was thinking, oh, what is there to talk about? And then, there things come up. I've been trying to get some answers from my guides, but thank you, Marjorie. We're actually, where I am, it's the Wolverines, but I'm not really like a sports person. I'm too superstitious, so it doesn't matter. Hey, Sue Malik. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Sue. Um, okay, this is the question I have right now. Oh, Daniel, I can ask her. She's so busy, and I'm sure we'll do one again because those are always so fun with Linda. Oh, what was it like artistic? What was like in Ireland? Oh, what's 16 degrees in Fahrenheit? I should know, but I don't. I'm assuming it's like in the 70s, maybe 60s. Ireland is so beautiful. I've been there. I've been north and south, and it's a wonderful place. If you hear some like the sound of a motor, it's my generator. I always forget that at 3 o'clock exactly it comes on like for 5 minutes just to check. Hey, Jackie. So, okay, this is a question I have, and it's a stupid question probably. I'm trying to get answers for, and I blocked it. And I was just wondering what other people have to say about this. Okay, we all saw that um, moment when Donald Trump took X, the little darling little X, onto his is it Air Force One, and oh my God, they just really made that the media, the unbiased media, made that into such a heartwarming moment. Like, what a wonderful, warm, caring person Trump is. When we had never seen that, even with Barron, I always felt so sorry for Barron because Barron always looked so miserable, and Trump always seemed to ignore him. He's doesn't like Trump doesn't like kids. He doesn't like uh, dogs or cats. Okay, I have to say allegedly now, entertainment purposes only. Okay, but we all know because we all watched. We all saw the first season of the Trump presidency. So nobody's asked this question. There was Trump and there was little X, but where was Elon and why did that happen? Was it planned, or did Elon just kind of throw exit Trump's take care of my little boy? I mean, Trump is supposed to be the president of the United States. Why is this even a random little kid? It's not even related to him. Why is he taking responsibility for him? Why is this kid getting on the plane Where's his mom? Nobody's asking these questions, and I am really curious, like what you guys think. Oh, hey, hey, Canada, yay! Hey, hey, butters, love Canada. I'm really near Canada. I'm like 50 minutes away from Canada. Um, so, what do you guys think? Do you have any ideas of like what the scenario is, or you could just make up a scenario? In my mind, and what I think I'm getting from my guides is that photo op. But why wasn't Elon there? That I mean, this is a little kid. He's like what, 4? Was Elon? Did Elon just say, "Hey, Trump"? Like he's on his phone, right, his cell phone. I gotta go. Can you take my kid for me? I'll see you on the other side. Is that what happened? Because that is insane. Because how? So that's just it. Just has been going through my mind. Or was Elon wasted? Or like, how did that even happen? Because Trump does not like children. And X, put wiped a booger on his the desk in the Oval Office and said to everybody, "This man shouldn't be president. You don't belong there. You're not the real president." Why would he still have this relationship with him? So Elon was on a flight to Florida. So Elon goes, "Hey, Donald, can you just take my kid with you?" Because now Donald's regulated, relegated, I should say. Sorry, relegated to being a babysitter. Is he that weak? I think that was the thing that I settled on. That it just shows how weak Trump is. He's in a position of subservience because that makes it just makes no sense. So many things about like the ops of this presidency do not make sense because they're just so much gaslighting. Yes, Sue, I agree here. I'll put your start putting comments up here. Um, it's just weirdness, and nobody commented on. Nobody asked that question. I don't know if you're like me, but I always have questions nobody seems to ask. What's this? I like that. Yeah, you're right, Sue. Trump doesn't like children because he's a kid himself and he wants to be the center of attention. He's a narcissist. Narcissists don't tend to like children very much. What they try to do is they try to make children into their likeness to suck the actual like soul identity out of a child and then place their own inside. And you can see that with Barron. Look what happened to Barron. Barron is like this miserable kid. I don't know how old he is now, 18 or 19 or something. Or he's friends with Andrew Tate and his brother. He's an incel. He became like just like a Donald or Eric, like trying to please his grandfather, and just he looks so miserable. So God knows what kind of childhood he had. It breaks my heart. Oh yeah, that's a good question too. I love that. Yeah. Hey, where are his fans? Where's the real vice president? What? Why do they lock him away? Do they just occasionally like say, "Hey, Vance, you can come out now," and then they lock him back up wherever in a closet in the White House? That is bizarre too. Why is he just barely in the public eye? He does come out sometimes, and then he just makes an absolute fool out of himself, and then he's gone again. Someday there'll be, I don't know if it'll be what, but there's got to be books about like the actual internal um, dynamics that are happening. And then God, Steve Miller, who I just forget about, and then he pops up again, and I think, God, what an evil person he is. And is he the one driving everything? I know he's driving the, you know, mass deportations and wanting to deport people without due process to El Salvador. And oh my God, he's one of the most evil men. If you just look at him, I mean, they're all evil, but he's got demon eyes. He's like a demon. He is a demon. So those are my thoughts. Then still watching Musk's Tesla just crash and burn, and then him making the rounds on Fox, and the right wing media. He's like, oh, boo, the Democrats are so hateful. Snowflake Democrats, like that everybody makes fun of because now the Democrats, according to Musk, are evil and domestic terrorists, and it's a plot. It's a political plot. Oh, I didn't know that, Linda. Steve Miller's wife acts as a liaison to Doge. Not surprised. Hey, Kay. Hi. Yeah, Trump is a weenie. He has to be, and certainly Musk intimidates Trump. Yeah, Trump is not alpha in that dynamic. Um, oh yeah, I kind of had a sense of that Trump would piss off SCOTUS to the point where I'm trying to envision it. Is I think it's possible. My guys say is that they're going to somehow some case is going to come up and immunity goes out the window. Like they're going to take away immunity because Trump messed it up like he always does. He shoots himself in the foot. No immunity for Trump. I feel like what I see because I asked the guys, and what I asked, like, well, why did he get that immunity in the first place? Like, I understand why Alito and Thomas, God, they're all um, wanting, to destroy our democracy. But uh, Roberts, he's always been kind of like, kind of on the fence, and I don't think he understood that, which was stupid of him or any of them, that when if Trump doesn't have immunity, he can just take them off the court and put who he wants in there. That's what his desire is. And if yeah, SCOTUS did create this monster. I agree, Kay. And if they want to save their behinds, they need to go back on the immunity um, ruling, and they need to take it away from him, and they need to gain their power back. They have to do that. And I think Trump is kind of making it obvious. He's not bright, of course. He's got like a his IQ is in how to like what do they call it? Like it's like an animal instinct. He knows he can sense the vulnerabilities of people and he can manipulate them and all of that. But he's no great intellect as we know. Uh, and he's got no impulse control and he pushes, and this is the same with Musk. They just push everything too far, too fast, in your face. And if they were more clever, then they would bide their time, and when we weren't even looking, all of a sudden, they're grabbing this power, but they do it in such a way as that we just kind of comply. But this isn't how it's done. And I'm sure that when Trump uh, where was it? What public venue was it when he said to Roberts, oh, it might have been the State of the Union address or something. And yeah, thanks a lot, Roberts. Without you, I don't know what we would have done. You've been great. And Roberts, I think he was just taken aback and kind of took the wind out of him because that's just not how he's supposed to appear. And that's when he started turning against Trump because he put Roberts in a terrible position because you know he presides over the SCOTUS, and he's not supposed to have that much bias. He's not supposed to be under the dominion or the control of a president or any other branch. So, um, Linda, question: watch clip with Musk on Occupy Diamonds. Musk uses the term window of the opportunity with F-47 as president sound to be like a limited time to do his work. Oh, yeah, yeah, I've been hearing that too. I'll ask the guys. Is this about his health? I know that, like the way that Hitler seized power, they there's some kind of like 100 days or something that they just have to do it in a certain amount of time, which is this coup. For some reason, that's and I think Maduro followed that. And isn't Trump getting advice from Maduro? Or one of the uh, South or Latin American autocrats on how to like seize power, is trying to follow that playbook. So let me ask, the window of opportunity. Oh, I'm just using my pendulum and I'm right now. It's it's to do with locking in power. It is based on how Hitler took power, and I think there have been books written by those people, playbooks on how, like I guess 2025. I think 20. It's in 2025. But the limited window. The worry is, okay. They, in terms of the elections coming up, they're going to try their best. Like Musk trying to buy the Wisconsin election for the Supreme Court, but they're not 100% sure that it's going to work because we just don't have a blanket like re- uh, regularized or homogenized voting system. It's different in every state, and it's still not under their auspices like they would like. And there are roadblocks, and I think it has to do with that. Democrats may be taking control of the House and the Senate. They're just mindful of these things, and it's a lot of complication. But the faster it's like the faster we can do it, the more we can put everything into place, and then we can ignore the judges. We can ignore, the Constitution. And but I'm not sure. I have to, when it's quiet, I'll ask my guides and have better concentration because there's more to it than that. But it's such a good question. So Deborah's asking, oh, that's what I wonder. That I'm guessing that they might. So I'll ask the guides. The guides are saying yes, they are going to reverse their ruling. Trump's going to take it too far, and it's going to incense many of the Supreme Court justices because they thought that he would respect them. They thought they could maintain their power, and Trump is now trampling over their own power, their own branch of the executive. I think it could happen. Yeah. Um, what happens if he? Well, he's. What happens if he ignores SCOTUS? If they're not in a position of power to where they can do it, they can try. They're trying to ignore, the federal judges. I think they thought they had SCOTUS on their side, the Trump and those guys. But they're not going to. I think with SCOTUS, it becomes a whole different kettle of fish, and I think they're stymied at that point, um, because then, yeah, I think the way that like the wheels turn in Washington, I think if SCOTUS rules against it, then they're blocked, and if they're in big trouble if they turn against it because SCOTUS could do a lot of things like take away immunity and a lot of other rulings. Oh, Daniel, that's a good question too. Is the Heritage Foundation giving money to the Supreme Court to push their agenda? Yes, and they have for a long time. And Putin also. I asked if there's other countries, but it's mainly like Putin. I think Putin and the Heritage Foundation are really like that. Like it's like one thing. Like they're merged together with the same agenda and the same funding. That's how Putin absorbs like the NRA and those kind of organizations because his whole thing is to have control over them. They're very helpful, but he doesn't treat them as um, equals. So, okay, what are you saying here? The SCOTUS that voted for his immunity were duped, just like his supporters. It's kind of like the leopards eating people's faces party example. I never thought that the leopards south eat my face. LOL. Yeah, that's true. Exactly what I'm getting from the guides. Oh, that's true. Trump is on Trump's side only. Well, yeah, there's a whole history, Celtic Seer. If you look, And oh, I know her. I've researched this myself with articles that track back, like when Russia first started to recruit, uh, the evangelicals and the Heritage Society. Don't you remember the Republican? I think it was mainly House members who spent the Fourth of July in Moscow. I think that was during Trump's regime. Don't you remember that? But it has been going on for a long time. And there's a he's on on Substack. I think his name is Michael Sellers, and he is amazing in terms. I think that's him. It may be another person, but I think that's him. Where he really really goes into the whole history of how Putin started this grand plan and how he incorporated the Heritage Society and the NRA and recruiting various GOP members, except the GOP were easier to recruit than the Democrats because they shared the same values. Uh, at least the ones we think of now as MAGA. But this has been long in the offing, and definitely has been, uh, or Putin has been involved in it from right from the beginning. Hi, Selma. I think, well, it's not just Catholic. What is hey, everybody out there, what is that name of the kind of like, it's like this, not a secret society, but it is a specific Catholic society. It's not mainstream Catholic, but it's, um, you guys, somebody tell me what it's called. Um, Opus Dei. Thank you, artistic world. Thank you so much. Yes, Opus Dei. They're part of Opus Dei, which is it's a sect that has a whole uh, agenda itself. So Celtic, so you're saying Project 25 started during Reagan's time? Yeah, and I think all of the gang, all the Project 2025 people, including Vance and TL, are now in the administration, or they're having major influence. I mean, they are the kernel of it, Illuminati. Um, but there are other people who are probably much more versed in some of these things that can explain to us, what the agenda is, what the whole thing is regarding, Opus Dei. But yeah, that definitely wasn't the Scalia Opus Dei too. Uh, what is their thing? I agree, Kate. Yeah, Reagan administration, 100%. So I think I think you can probably see the parallel of Putin and the KGB, and their how they start getting involved in our politics and recruiting members of the House and the Senate, etc. Um, she says it's false news. Oh my God. What's taken over her brain? I'm sure it's Fox. They just kind of like insert programming and then they delete some memories and they put in other ones. Oh my God. How much power does Curtis Yarvin have? Oh yeah, is Yarvin like I just I heard somebody talking about him today. He's like the philosopher, the Peter Thiel and those guys. They he was very influential with them. He talks about technocracy, right? Am I correct in that? And how and that's been in the offing. You know what reminds me of the whole Yarvin technocracy vision is there was a movie called Metropolis. I think it was made in the 1920s or maybe before that, but it's this whole mechanized. society. Has anybody ever seen Metropolis? And it goes awry. It goes awry. Like, how could it not go awry? So, a technocracy is where the technocrats rule. Their vision is that Trump is the CEO, but Musk is the like leader, and he puts it into place. And their desire is that we get rid of the Constitution, and humans are supplanted by AI because we're biofuel. We're really not necessary to the grand scheme of things, and that they it sounds like such a bad science fiction movie that they reap all the profits, and like AI is that's what Musk wants to do now. That's why he wants to fire all these people. He thinks he can replace everything with AI. Like his AI savvy is so good. Like his automatic cars driven by AI haven't run over people or caused deaths. Uh, that Tesla has just so many problems, like just so many recalls, and they're in trouble. Like even without this whole boycott, it's so great. Um, and of course, one of the reasons Musk wanted to get into the Treasury, et cetera, and wanted to get into all these governmental agencies was to stop the investigations against his company, and to stop the fines. See, I think it was $600 million in fines from some governmental agency, and it's all over the world too. Canada, um, and I'm sure Germany, all these countries have all kinds of investigations into him because he is a con man. He's a criminal. He's a grifter, and his cars are at least the Jetson type thing that he designed. That truck is pathetic. I think it's being recalled now because it's actual kind of like the somebody explained this to me. It works with autom with cars and trucks or whatever with vehicles. I don't really understand it, but it's something to do with the actual internal like infrastructure or that everything's based on, like how a car uh, doesn't collapse. And I think that he told me that Elon doesn't use steel; he uses aluminum, and so these huge 7,000 pound uh, trucks are like they're collapsing and they're falling apart. Linda says the elite would have to enslave a huge part of humans in order to farm, run food factories, clothing. It's just a ridiculous, stupid, childish vision. It's like these people like TL and Musk and Garvin. They play too many video games. They really believe fantasy over reality, and they think they can implement it because they've somehow been able to make all this money, and somehow that gives them an entitlement to have no to want to replace humans with robots, basically, because they hate people. They hate humans. um what are we talking about here? So Elon gets his money from SpaceX. He's polluting the sky, creating major issues for airlines. Yeah, I heard about that, and I heard that his satellites are just too bright, and they cause problems with like other research program in space. Like they just interfere because they're just. And that's the thing with Musk. He thinks he's clever. He thinks he saves money, but he never does. He just creates more. Um, Crises, and you can't the way that he like he did with Twitter's worth like 80% less now than it was when he started, but he's so narcissistic, and nobody probably tells him to his face that he's a disaster. He just has this idea that he's brilliant, but the reality is never that for him. How can you and how can you take like and but by the way, I and this is just me, entertainment purposes only. I don't think he's the richest man on earth. I believe that that is total hype, the way that Trump hikes his money, and that the majority of his actual liquid assets come from Tesla. And now that Tesla's tanked, the reason he's crying allegedly, and you've heard those stories in Trump's office, is because he really has run out of he's running out of money. I think a lot of his so-called money is probably in Bitcoin, or and other companies like that, and he um it's nothing. It's like it's for me. I just believe it's all an illusion. Yeah, he has SpaceX and he has some other companies, Neuralink, etc. But so much of that is based on government contracts, right? It's Tesla is what was making him lucrative. Now he doesn't have Tesla, or his very, that company is tanking. I think CEOs are now telling him that they don't want him, or big stock share owners are telling Musk they think he should step away because now he's alienated the whole world except for like a very small amount of uh, people who will invest in Tesla. And I mean, it's just perfect chef's kiss irony that they're forcing MAGA to buy Tesla. Oh, no, MAGA has to pretend they believe in electric cars with all of these years and funded by oil companies, etc., to to get rid of electric cars. And now Elon comes in, and it's just beautiful. Um, so yes, Ivy, the Metropolis, exactly. That's the movie I was talking about. That I think I have to go back and watch that. That is exactly right. But what happens at the end of Metropolis? Sorry, spoiler alert for people who haven't seen that movie. It's a silent. It's a beautifully made silent movie. It's just visionary when it was made. Does anybody know what year that was made? I think it's like Art Deco or something period. Let's see. You say Celtic Seer. AI is a tool, not a substitute. Yes, exactly. Thank you. When a Tesla car dies, they use it to make cocaine. That's so funny. Oh my God, I'm on my feet now because I've been watching channels I've never seen before, like the art of value, which is good, and Chris Norland. Uh, these people are just really acerbic, like their videos about the downfall of Tesla, looking at it, from a little bit of a different viewpoint, but they're really funny. Um, and yeah, sorry, just it's so ironic, and it's so great. Because this is it. Like, I don't want to hear. I don't listen to anybody saying that. Oh, you should laugh at somebody's downfall. People need to learn. Don't reward bad behavior. And so, relatively something bad is happening to a company, and that is teaching that person, which Elon Musk is not listening to, but it's at least karma, and I think it's a beautiful thing because it's stopping somebody from doing much worse. Um, hey, Finbar, TL talks and sounds just like Zuckerberg, which yeah, and Zuckerberg. I I don't know. Like, is everybody on all these people on the spectrum of autism, or is it they're just on the spectrum of sociopathy, which looks like autism, but is sociopathy, not necessarily autism. Oh well, I didn't know Musket was maybe on fentanyl, but I've wondered about that, Deborah. He's on a bunch of. He can afford it. Allegedly, yeah. He's an, it's not alleged that he's an addict. I think he's talked about that, or people, that's pretty, well, maybe I'll say alleged anyway, but I wouldn't be surprised. There's a lot of drugs I think he's on because he can afford whatever he wants. And he has a dealer or series of dealers that can just get him whatever. And so does Trump. They can get what, oh, Ronnie Jackson, right? I get you whatever you want. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Tris. I think I lost track of something I was going to say, but it was I was talking about watching those shows on that are tracking like um, the fall of Tesla. It's amazing, like how many videos there have been in the last several years about what a terrible, what a trashy like vehicle Tesla is. Oh my God, I'm glad. Well, I'm sorry if any of you out there have purchased a Tesla, but it's not your fault. You thought you were doing something good for the environment. Now you know you got grifted. Yeah, talk about money being the root of all evil. Hey, Sabrina, I'm gonna thank you. Yeah, don't forget the like button and thank you so much. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Kay. Yeah, but look what he's done with that luck, huh? He's not that bright. I truly don't think he's. I mean, look, and even if he had any um, spark, drugs certainly are taking it out of him. He's making poor choices as a result. I think. Yeah. Oh, right. Yes, and it's running out now. Yeah, I've seen actually some videos on YouTube, like people who used to work for him, and they talk. I don't even know how they could buy into his philosophy. He has people who've worked for him. I guess it's like a cult mentality. But then one woman was saying she worked in sales and she really thought highly of him. And then when he started like firing, I think he just decided at one point that he was going to sell uh, Tesla online and he was going to close down all these dealerships. And she said he really doesn't understand business at all. He pretends he does, but he doesn't understand it. And how he was destroying like a certain uh, really important, is it nomenclature, a really important part of Tesla when he got decided to get rid of the like, salespeople. Yeah. So it's crazy, but I guess that he's the result of just pure greed, Leon. And in the meantime, I'm still waiting for like the truth to come out. Come on, NATO, just let us all have it about this election being stolen. And oh, which reminds me, my I did ask my guides like what they wanted to tell you. Uh, let's see, it's in my notes on my phone. Okay, this is what the guide said. Enjoy the show. It won't last much longer. Trump has no longevity. Madness is leading the charge. And then they showed me a vision of bare asses, like in the tower card, with the man's falling out of the tower, at least in the Rider Waite deck, and you can see his bare ass. And it's like we're being shown that, whatever that means to you. And they said the tower moment, meaning Trump administration falling off a precipice into an abyss. Um, Celtic Seer says these young guys who have enabled the EM are in serious trouble. What do you think will happen to them? I think one of two things, and I can't ask my guides, but I think I've asked this before and they've shown me it. Either they become whistleblowers but they still do time. It's so serious. It's so egregious what they've done, or they go to prison and they spend a lot of time there, years. I mean, it's so serious. So it's bad for them. He's really destroyed their lives. Also, I read that there's quite a few of them that are like connected to the KGB, whatever the KGB is now. I don't think it's called the KGB, but like their some what's it, Big Balls is like his grandmother was worked for the KGB. She was a Russian agent, and then there's a few other of them, the hackers. Well, that's what they were before Doge hired them. Well, they're still hacking. So there's like this direct lineage to Putin. All these comments I'm missing. So let me think what else has been in the news besides that. It's hard to pay attention to other things because I just want it to be over with. I don't want them to be in a White House. I don't want them to be in Washington. I just want this to be over. Um, oh, that's a good question, Ivy. Yes, and Putin's role will come out, and it's known. It's known. I mean, it's hard not to have known about it. It was even a Mueller report. But and Jack, think about Jack Smith in The Hague. Like they're not hampered by what's going on here, which is it's so awful. They, Trump's administration uh, putting the kibosh on our ability to spy on Russia and to gain intelligence, and might as well just move Putin into the executive office, right? Um, but there is a war going on behind the scenes. The guys show me so much is being done that we're not being shown. I think I probably said that before in other lives. That it's like underwater, submerged. So much secrecy, but our country and the Western democracies are still at work to undo this coup, topple the coup. We're not just acquiescing because Trump was able to steal the election, and that we know that the election was stolen. It is so obvious. It's just the math, the statistics, the demographics, all of it. It is known. Kamala knows. Bishop Biden obviously knows. Waltz knows that the election was stolen, but it has to be under the radar how this whole thing is going to end. There's so many different spokes to the wheel, so many different the way that it's been plotted, the way that it needs to be undone. It needs to be. It's like snipping away, you know, snipping from underneath to. Is it dislodge? Is that the right word? This takeover, but it's being done. Oh, thank you for the. I like them too. I ask so many questions because I get worried just like everybody else. I go, oh my God, like, is he going to be there forever and whatever? And I, in terms of questions like when I ask about Trump and how long this is going to go on, I may not be able to get clear information just because of my own emotions about it, but I still ask, and I I feel the resonance. And when I felt that before, when I remember asking about January 6th, I probably said this in another live too, and I didn't when I was watching, and I was actually watching it as it was happening, and I couldn't believe my eyes. But they said, "Don't worry, things are going to be okay. Like we're going to get through this," and we did. Even, this is a little different, right? Where they actually have been able to come into the White House and into the edifices of power, but they still say it isn't. It's not the same residence. It's just not going to be for long. Short short lived. Um, and think about how many more people are convinced and also disenchanted with Trump than used to be. I mean, I think Kamala got like 60 to 70% of the vote, and it makes sense if you look at the polling. If 60% of the people don't approve of Trump right now or more, whatever the last uh, CNN poll was, if people really were gung ho for Trump, that wouldn't be the case. He wouldn't have such a low popularity. He just has the same low popularity as he's always had. But what I'm talking about is it's probably even more because of so many uh, Trump voters who lost their jobs, who lost their insulin, um, or their subsidy, who uh, lost their Medicaid, are are terrified and didn't think it was going to affect them. So it's kind of like working in that way in the favor of like if let's say if this is possible that the military steps in and the at some miraculous way Kamala and Tim get to be our president and vice president because it's obvious that the election was stolen. I think people would be much more willing to accept it now than they would just a few months ago. They would be so happy, even people who thought they would never desert Trump because he's hurting his own. The people he's hurting the most for the majority are his own people, like the MAGA people. They're the most vulnerable. They're the ones least, their rights are least protected. They're in the red states and in the rural belts where they relied on is it USAID for the subsidies, and the tariffs are going to really hurt them. And I think they're in shock. So he's really, hey Marby, um, who's OR Tristris? Um, yeah, so people are effing around and finding out, right? FAFO. So that's happening. It's weird the weird way that it's working, but he's even less popular now than he was a few months ago when he was still unpopular. So I do have a card from the Sacred Forest deck to read to you, and then we can carry on with some questions because we still have time. But before I forget, passage, standing stones. Sorry, passage. That's the card that the guides chose for us. And this is the meaning of that card. Many believe that standing stones are a place that allow one to embark on spiritual journeys from one realm to another. They can also mark the transition from one stage of life to another. Remember that although life changes, you are eternal, meaning that means you. Remember that it is uh, very important to celebrate all the transitions in life, and you'll experience profound harmony. A voyage of the heart and soul is ahead. This journey may be a spiritual or physical journey in nature. In either case, it's a kind of sacred pilgrimage. Have courage. A great ship can stay safe in the harbor, but that is not what great ships are made for. Be willing to unfurl your sails and set forth to the open seas. The seas might be rough and the wind is strong, but you are safe and protected. The circle of stones takes you exactly where you need to go. The spirit of the standing stone says, a sacred journey is ahead. Deeper meaning is waiting to be discovered. You are safe. Passage. That's a beautiful card, especially on an equinox. So I don't know how many people celebrate the equinoxes and solstices. I certainly do. I try to be aware of them because the energy always shifts if I notice it. And I always thank the season as it proceeds uh, before I embrace the new season. So I thank winter for everything that it gave me, and then I turn towards spring in this case, and I celebrate the new or the new arrival of the energies where things start waking up. Right, so exciting. Yeah, spring brings a new beginning. Thank you. Celtic Seer, oh, tell us about your culture and how you celebrate if you want to. What are Indian yugas? I don't know what they are. Thank you. Thank you, Ivy. Here, yep, I'm sorry, Kay, I clicked on you by mistake, but I will answer your question now. I mean, I meant to click on it, but I meant to click on the one before you first. Um, oh yeah, it breaks my heart. Oh, thank you for asking that, Kay, because I don't know if anybody saw my past life on Jimmy Carter. I put it out on Sunday, and I only have like 600 views, which is compared to what I usually have. It's not that much, which is fine. I always think, well, whoever's meant to see whatever I put out is meant to see it, and it's all right. But if anybody missed it, uh, check on it. I just put it out on Sunday, and sometimes I think YouTube doesn't really put me in the algorithm. Uh, yeah. Oh, thank you, JC. Um, okay, so oh yeah, because Jimmy Carter started the Department of Education and the Department of Energy. He created that, so it's such a terrible insult to him, and I'm sure it's intentional uh, to attack it. Um, let's see. In the end, I don't think it's going to be successful. I think it's going to be stopped. I think that it's going to hold. I think almost everything that Trump does is going to be put back into place. Like everything he tries to take away, it becomes stronger, better. Yeah. Um, so in Ireland, you have Imbolc, which is February 1st, symbolizes beginning of spring, and Samhain, which is fall. Yeah, Trump did hate Carter. Carter was such an amazing president, and we were so gaslighted into thinking he was a terrible president. But he was not a terrible president. He was a visionary, and he did so many wonderful things for our country. Oh, I mean, that's amazing. You're making goddess cookies. No, let me ask about that to you, Lynn. Oh no, he hates Carter because Carter was so beloved. That's what my guides are saying. But I see all. It's like they're showing me like how like the wind kicks up a little cyclone, but when that wind passes, it all settles back down again. That's what they're showing me. These changes, they're not going to hold. They're not going to stand, and he's not going to be in power much longer. That's what they say allegedly. It could be wishful thinking, of course, but that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, Mary, I think I keep on asking and I keep on hearing yes, but I'm not so great with time. But I'll just say what I hear from my guides is yeah, I think she will. At least we'll know that she's president, or she should be president. And I feel like this whole thing is going to be just overturned. This coup. They're a terrorist organization. He is. Oh my God, he's so crazy because he just has he's so stupid. He just absorbs what people apparently what people just tell him, in his circle. So think about who's talking, Musk and Miller and God knows, and they're just saying these ridiculous things, and he's just repeating it. Yeah. Did you, JC? Did you already talk about? We were talking about the Department of Education, and my guide said they didn't see it. He might attempt to do it, but in the end, I think it still holds. Why are the authorities sitting on the voter? Well, what authorities? NATO, ICC? Because certainly we understand why they're sitting on it here because Trump is in power. Um, they're just waiting. They're biding their time. It's very strategic. That's what the guides say. When the information will come out, and it feels like it's been years, but it's only been a few months, right? January, February, March, 3 months. Not even 3 months. January, no, 3 months, right? Exactly 3 months today, right? January 20th to March 20th. Such a short amount of time when all this insanity has gone on. Seems like forever and ever and ever. It's been 50 years, yeah. JC, yeah, in terms of it forming. Um, I'm just talking about since Trump. Oh, Trump. I was going to say Trump stole the presidency, but I was thinking, and I'm sure somebody else has said this, but I keep on thinking instead of art of the deal, it should be art of the steal. That's that's the book he should have ghost written because he can't write. But yeah, art of the steal. Yeah, our artistic world. November was the election event, but he wasn't sworn in to be president. But you're right. Yeah, why didn't it come out before then? Right, November, December. We were all waiting for it to come out. But then it could be proven the way it could be proven now. But now they have like it's 100%. Everything is totally like in. It's irrefutable. That's what the guys are saying. Like the proof. But it wasn't then. Um, or was Trump on Hannity or something when he said that? Right. Well, how is Habitat for Humanity? I wonder how he explained how it was a terrorist organization. Like, how does any of that translate into terrorism? I don't understand. Um, it's all right, JC, you're forgiven. Um, because he said so. You know that this kind of like insane talk has probably been around like in Mar-a-Lago forever. This is kind of what they sit and talk about when they drink their uh, um, gin or they you know they take their Adderall or whatever they're doing there, and they're just kind of like it's a kind of a circular type of thing. But to come out and say it in public is it's insane. Yeah, I agree. But it's just I don't propose to, or I don't say I know exactly why everything is such subterfuge, but they just can't act on it until they can act on it. There's so many things in play here, and this is not just our country. This is the whole world, and this is happening to the whole world. I'll ask again. There are reasons, of course. Yeah, they're saying, Melissa, it's just it's so intricate what has to happen to just bring it all down, not just in our country, but other countries. Um, that's Kathy, that's a good question. He doesn't, narcissists, they're terrified of death, but at the same time, they think they can live forever. It's like it's a paradox for them. He thinks he's young. He's in complete denial about his diaper situation or his, and this is very alleged. I've heard that he's been having mini strokes, but I don't know. I can't say that for sure. But there's this part of him. It's why narcissism is considered a mental illness, or really it's a personality disorder. But it's because they just don't see reality. They don't. They think they're outside. Like here's their body, their organic physical body, but they're living outside it as a separate entity. It's kind of like that. They just don't. That part of their brain, the executive functioning, that we're supposed to grow when we're adults, but 2-year-olds don't have it. They have a problem with that aspect of being able to see the consequences of actions and things like mortality, and so they're terrified of death, but they think they can beat death. They're like vampires. They think they'll live forever. Putin thinks that he's going to live forever, even though the writing's on the wall for him. That's what the guides say. um huh, Interesting. Well, Melania, I think living with Trump, having to deal with being, well, not that she lives with him too much, but having to be around him at all is like punishment. Just like I think that Trump having to spend time with Musk, who the guides show me that he hates, is torture for him. They all have like their own prisons right now. Her retribution is just the rotting from within. That's what I hear. Yeah, Melania's gonna go away broke. A gold digger, if ever there was one. So let me see. Uh, of the Hunger, yes, it's like the Hunger Games. Let me see if there's what something I can leave you with that's hopeful. I, I do. Oh, thank you, Leah. I do want to not ask, but just if you are of the mind to really take a moment today and just feel the shifting of the seasons and do some celebration. It's beautiful spring or fall if you're in Australia day, and yeah, have some celebration time. Don't again, I'm not the first to say this, but don't let them take away our joy or our sense of what's sacred, because we are eternal, like the card says, and remember that. Oh, thank you, Deborah. Thank you very much. Um, the guides want to tell you that. They wanted me to tell you that actually, and also it's like they've shown this to me before, but it's like being on a very rocky boat during an intense storm, but the storm will abate and calm waters are ahead. That's what they want me to show you, okay? And say a few prayers, please, for President-elect Harris and Joe Biden, who we believe are doing some very hidden things. Yes, whatever the future is malleable to a large extent. There's some fixed things, but I think it does help to like envision, for manifestation, what we want. So keep, it's always a work in progress, right? I love you guys too. You guys take care. Oh, that's a lovely thing to leave you on. Linda says our pear tree is blooming and the scent is heavenly. Yes, I agree, Celtic Seared. It's wonderful to watch Tim in action, Tim Waltz and his town halls, and there's going to be even, more resistance and more the voices of the people will be heard, and the voices of the Democrats who are like AOC and Tim Waltz and Bernie Sanders, who was fantastic, and our voices, yeah. Okay, you guys, I love you. Take care. I'll come back next week and do another live. Bye bye. Happy spring. Okay.